In this video, we're going to learn about incomplete dominance. Incomplete dominance is a type of inheritance in which the allele for a specific trait is not completely dominant over the other allele. This means that in the phenotype, what is expressed is a combination of the phenotypes for both alleles. A good example of this in humans is the condition known as sickle cell anemia, or sickle cell disease. So it's an inherited disease that causes the red blood cells to become distorted to form these funny sort of sickle shapes, right, due to a mutation with the haemoglobin. It mainly affects people of African, Caribbean, Mediterranean and Asian descent. And it affects over 6,000 people in the UK. With sickle cell disease, one of the genes that codes for haemoglobin is mutated. This produces an abnormal type of haemoglobin that we call haemoglobin S. It is not the correct shape, which means it is an inefficient carrier of oxygen, and it also causes the red blood cells to become a distorted shape, and they form these curved sickle shapes. If you are a non-sufferer of sickle cell, then you are homozygous for the normal allele, which we will call H, because it codes for normal haemoglobin. Non-sufferers will all produce normal haemoglobin. All sufferers are homozygous for the incompletely dominant mutant allele, which we will call S, because it codes for sickle cell anemia. So everybody who is affected by sickle cell anemia is homozygous for the S allele. They have sickle-shaped cells that tend to stick together, that interferes with the blood circulation, causing blockages in the blood supply to different organs. It can lead to shortage of oxygen, damage to vital organs, severe pain and sometimes death. Okay. So you can see here in the diagram that the sickle cells have clumped together, causing a blockage in one of the blood capillaries, and that blocks the blood flow to the organs. People who are heterozygous for this disorder have one incompletely dominant allele for normal haemoglobin and one incompletely dominant allele for the mutated S haemoglobin. Right? These people do not suffer from sickle cell anemia. However, they do produce a small proportion of abnormal haemoglobin, which causes them to have a milder form of the condition that's referred to as sickle cell trait. In this case, approximately 30% of their haemoglobin is abnormal, so approximately 30% of their red blood cells will be abnormally shaped. So, sickle cell anemia and sickle cell trait show an incomplete dominant pattern of inheritance. The fully expressed sickle cell anemia, caused by the homozygous SS genotype, occurs rarely. The partially expressed sickle cell trait, caused by the heterozygous genotype HS, occurs more frequently. A sufferer of sickle cell disease must have two parents that suffer from sickle cell trait, and males and females are affected in equal numbers. So let's look at this cross where we have two sickle cell trait parents. Their genotype would be HS for both parents. So we put the alleles of the gametes here. So this child will be HH, HS, HS and SS. So there would be a 1 in 4 chance of a child having sickle cell anemia. A 1 in 4 chance of the child being unaffected, and a 2 in 4 chance or a 1 in 2 chance of the child having sickle cell trait.